In this era of misinformation and partial truth, will you believe anything you hear, see, or read? How do you know that the opinion you're forming based on just one piece of information is the truth? How do you go from point A, where you're reading the information, to point B, where you're actually forming your opinion? Well, if your point A and point B are the same, then you're falling prey to biased news reporting. The beliefs that you're forming is not really your own, but is of the person giving you the information. Hey, thank you for coming to this channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about how biased news reporting influences your belief and how you can avoid falling for it by making more informed opinions. The content that we make takes a lot of time and effort, so please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel, and please do share this video as well. There is just so much news right now. We are bombarded by it all the time. Most of it is sensationalized, contains very little facts, and wants to just imprint an ideology onto you. Even if you have found a reliable source with credible information, it can be difficult to understand what that really means. This has become even harder with social media taking over our lives. A lot of hoaxes, false claims, fabricated news, and conspiracy theories quickly spread on social media because they easily grab your attention. Now, you need to make sure that you don't rush to point B where you're forming your opinion. Take your time in understanding the information you're getting. Here are 3 things to follow before you form an opinion on any issue. Every news agency has an inherent bias. However, the extent of the bias may differ. For example, look at the reporting during the Delhi riots. On one hand, we had Swarajya magazine, which put the blame on the police for not stopping the Shaheen Bagh protests earlier. On the other hand, we had The Wire, which put the blame on the police for letting the Hindutva mob do whatever they wanted to do. And then there was Reuters, which took a neutral stance by blaming the atmosphere around the event. The key here is to make sure that you're reading from multiple reliable sources so that you can get a better idea of the issue from all perspectives and avoid being misinformed. If a newspaper or a news channel is really giving you the facts, it would be the same across all the other channels as well. You need to make sure that you're finding articles, journals, and capable researchers just like us who can collect all of this information and give it to you. Ask yourself, how much do you know about the person reporting the news? You wouldn't trust someone you don't know if they offered you candy, right? Then why make an exception for the news? Whenever you're reading a post on social media or the internet, you need to have in mind that that information may be true or false. WhatsApp forwards, Twitter trends, none of them really provide any reliable source. You need to be very careful when you're accepting any information from those. So, how can you trust someone with their information? Well, people who are really interested in posting accurate information will always link their sources, just like we do. You can trust them if their sources are studies from reputed universities or government agencies, articles from legitimate newspapers, journals, or other publications, quotes and commentaries from qualified professionals, or verified information from eyewitnesses. When people don't post any reliable sources, it's usually because they have a strong bias or an obligation towards an organization which affects their judgment of the facts. They usually target people with the same bias and spread skewed information. Be wary when you're getting information from stories that don't link to any sources, bloggers who link to their previous posts as evidence, link to sponsored studies, or use of experts who are in no way qualified to speak on a topic. The main issue here is your brain forms an opinion as soon as it consumes any information. But do you know why that happens? It's because of something called the cognitive bias. It basically means that when you're taking any information or data, your brain wants to make sense of it. So it basically forms an explanation of it which becomes a biased opinion. So be aware of your cognitive bias. More often than not, it distorts your reality. It's not your fault. You can easily just blame it on biology, but you still need to be careful around it. A lot of times, the way you feel about a person or an organization affects your judgment. If you like someone, you tend to agree with them, while if you dislike someone, you are biased to disagree. You need to avoid such situations when critically reading the news. Let's take an example of the 2 major parties in India. If there's someone who doesn't like the Congress, they always perceive whatever Rahul Gandhi does as negative. While if there's someone who does not like the BJP, they always think that whatever Narendra Modi is doing is wrong. When you search for any information, you should not disregard the information that goes against the initial opinion that you made. You should be open to opinions that have some credibility. Look for more information on the internet, talk to your friends, and reach out to experts to get their perspective. The truth hides in plain sight behind meaningless correlations. You need to put in extra effort to find it. But don't worry, it's easier than finding Nemo. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope that this video was helpful for you and you were able to take some lessons from it. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. A lot of work goes into this.